Hey, this is Bella from Big Noise. We are here with girlfriends. Nick and Travis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. You guys recently played at Vans Warped Tour in Long Beach. So, to kick things off, what's a memory from your past Warped Tour days that influence how you perform now?
That is a good question. I think for me, one of my biggest memories was 2009. I had just hopped on the tour selling t-shirts. I was working for one of my friend's clothing companies, and he offered me a bunk spot to go and sell merch for him all summer long. And so I got to have a bunk spot on Attack Attack's bus. One, that was the first tour bus I was ever on. And it was right when I launched my first music project. So that entire summer, I got to hang out with all my favorite bands. And in return for like selling t-shirts, I was allowed to play like a 30-minute set in the clothing company's tent at Warped Tour. So I would like wake up at 7 a.m., go put up the tent, try and go sell like little EPs with a CD player and headphones to people walking the line. And then every day at like 2 o'clock, I'd go back to the bus. I'd grab my laptop and like PA speakers, walk it over, set it up, play to like 10 people, bring it back, and then sell t-shirts and break it down and just do that whole thing 60 days in a row. And it was beautiful. And then I got to officially be on the tour in 2012. Where, I was playing like a real stage, and now Girlfriends is on Warped Tour 2025 for the 30th anniversary. So great memories on the Vans Warped Tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite memory has to be probably in 2019 when I got to play Warped Tour for the first time with Goldfinger. We got to play up in San Francisco at Shoreline Amphitheater. That's always a place that I've wanted to play for a long time. I remember sitting behind the stage. It was one of those rotating stages at the time. And before we went on, like 10 minutes before, there was probably like 2,000 people waiting to watch us play. And I was like, this has to get bigger than this, right? And so right before, as the stage starts turning, right before we start performing, there was like 20,000 people there. And I always say that's the John Feldman effect of Warped Tour. 1 second it can be 2,000 people, and then within 5 minutes, 20,000 people can show up. So that was my favorite time.
That's awesome. I love that. Our next question is, what inspired the name Girlfriends?
Honestly, I just thought it would be really funny to go on stage and be like, what's up, Arizona, we're girlfriends. And I had 5 names in my iPhone notes when Nick and I sat down and we were starting to put this project together. And he was like, well, let me hear them. And that was the first one. And
yeah,
Nick, yeah.
Travis initially came, the first one was actually Boyfriends. And then we said, I don't think that can work. And number 2 was Girlfriends. And so we switched it up, and that was the initiation of the best band name in the world right there.
I love that so much. Our next question is, do you have any pre-show rituals? And if so, what are they?
We listen to crazy music, and it ranges from like Limp Bizkit to Rufus Du Sol. The playlist is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
I think ritual wise, outside of the music that we listen to backstage, we always 10 minutes before we play, we always get together and do a little gratitude circle together. I think that's one of our favorite things to do, is just kind of, think about the things we're grateful for in the moment and kind of de-stress the environment that we're about to step ourselves into and put ourselves into a positive mindset stepping onto the stage, and just thinking about things that we're grateful for and stoked about life, and puts us in a good positive mindset before the show.
That's awesome. Question number 4 is, you have done a lot of collabs. If you had to write a song with somebody totally unexpected, it could be a rapper or a country artist, anyone, who would you pick?
That's a good question.
I can start. Yeah, I've always thrown around, Tame Impala. I think would be such a cool collaboration, dream collaboration for me. Who knows what that would sound like with Girlfriends, but that's always been a favorite band of mine for a long time, and could be a cool idea.
Yeah.
Someone that we've always talked about too is Wiz Khalifa.
Ooh.
Girlfriends featuring Wiz Khalifa song would go crazy.
That would be cool. That'd be great. Question number 5 is, which song from your own discography would you be most likely to get a tattoo of? and what would it be?
Tattoo. Yeah. And you know what? We actually had someone get a tattoo of the word tattoo for the single cover that we then took a photo of. And she was at Warped Tour. So she came to the meet and greet. And yeah, we got to hang, and I got to, we got to see the tattoo a couple of years later. It looks great, by the way. And it has definitely aged well. And then our videographer, Ilio, he has a tattoo of the lyric, "I got a new tattoo," on his leg that I actually tattooed on him when Inked Magazine came to one of our shows on the Avril tour.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if that was a good idea or a stupid idea.
Terrifying. Yeah, it was the worst idea we've had in the last couple of years. Mine would probably be, let's see, I'm going to go with West Coast, because it's the newest song, and I grew up on the West Coast, so that would be a meaningful tattoo that would actually make sense. So I'm going to go with that.
I love those choices. Very creative. I really like the tattoo one. Okay. Next question is, what's one thing you've learned about each other from touring or working so closely that fans might not expect?
I think one thing I've learned from Nick is his ability to just stay cool in every situation. And that's like, I'm completely the opposite, where I'm just like an critical overthinker, and just like, I'm always looking at like what's going to go wrong. And, we've had, like, when you tour and you play live shows, anything that can go wrong will. And, moments before we've played our first arena show, like, our in-ears don't work and we don't get a sound check. And like, hopefully they have to figure it out in literally like 9 minutes before we go on stage in front of 20,000 people. And Nick is just like cool as a cucumber, just like, it's going to be what it'll be. It'll all work out. And I'm a bit envious of that. And I really admire that about him.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm blushing over here. Thanks, Jeff. This is why we're girlfriends. I think it's just the work ethic of being on tour, of being with someone like Travis. To throw it back to Travis, the guy works super, super hard and obviously cares, right? Like, to what he was just saying, if he didn't care, it probably wouldn't be the show that it is and the band that we're becoming and all that type of stuff. And so I think it's just like, attention to detail matters. Trying to make sure that we give our best foot forward in everything that we do. And I think Travis and I both do that collectively really well together, especially on the road, and just make sure that we're being the best version of a band that we possibly can in the moment. And so, there's a lot of bands that don't give a shit and don't care, and just want to live the lifestyle and all the things. And so, for us, it's probably that.
That's great. I love that. Our next question is, what is your guilty pleasure song?
Ooh, song. Well, I'm just going to throw anytime I've gotten asked this, my brain immediately goes to Cobra Starship's Guilty Pleasure. They have a song called Guilty Pleasure. And it's so, I freaking love that song. Gabe's a legend. I was a huge Midtown fan. I was a huge Cobra fan. And I feel like it's baked right into the title and the entire thing.
Yeah.
My guilty pleasure song? I don't know if I have like a guilty pleasure song. I guess my most recent guilty pleasure song is probably a Fred Again song called Maria. I've just been all into the Fred Again stuff, just vibing outside of all the pop punk stuff that we're always in every single day. So it's a good little breather from all the stuff we work on all day to kind of get into a different zone. So that'd probably be mine.
Yeah. Cobra Starships is like, I saw them at Warped Tour and they were amazing. I love them. And I saw them at When We Were Young a couple years ago. So
shout out to Gabe.
Yeah, they're so much fun. Okay. And then our final question is, what movie scene would you want to rescore with one of your songs?
Ooh.
Oh, probably the main scene in Brokeback Mountain. Something like that, would be interesting. Oh, Travis, have you ever seen that movie, dude?
I have.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I mean, Heath Ledger's an icon, dude. He's a goat.
Icon, dude.
Heath
Icon.
Ledger's goated. I'm going to throw it back to a 90s movie that I feel like gets shit on a lot, but you want to talk about guilty pleasures? This movie is one of my guilty pleasure films, but it's an old Keanu Reeves film called Point Break. And I feel like we could throw California in one of the surfing scenes. Even one of the heist scenes would be epic. And yeah, Point Break, the original, not the remake. But yeah, Gary Busey, Keanu Reeves, Anthony Kiedis has a small cameo in the movie. He's one of the surfers and he gets punched in the face. One of my favorite movies, and the internet absolutely hates it.
I love both of those.
I mean, I would maybe throw it back to Baywatch and put plastic over the top of it.
Into like the opening scene.
That's great. I love those both. Well, that's all of our questions for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and hope to talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks, Bella. You rule.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thanks.